Welcome to the North Carolina Business Podcast, hosted by Amanda Cook. We talk with the owners and founders of businesses in the Old North State and get to know them personally and how their life's journey led them to their business ideas and to become entrepreneurs. We'll get to know their stories and their businesses. So grab a glass of iced tea or your beverage of choice, pull up a chair, and join us in a nice, friendly conversation. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the North Carolina Business Podcast. And I'd like to welcome Scott Cornelius with us today. Hey, Scott.
Hey, Amanda. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me. First off, I just want to let everybody know that we do know each other from many, many years ago. We went to elementary school together, through high school together, and it's great to actually see you again and be able to talk with you.
Yeah, that was only like 10 years ago, right?
Exactly. Exactly. It is in my mind anyway.
Yes, mine too.
Let's see. I mean, the podcast is, we want to get to know you as a person, kind of your background. Would you mind telling us a little bit about growing up and through, whatever you'd like to tell us?
Oh, sure. So grew up in, I would say, rural America, in a little town. Our address was Greensboro, but I was closer to this little town called Pleasant Garden, kind of out in the sticks. I had kind of the beaver cleaver growing up, two-parent home where mom and dad loved each other and they loved us kids, and applied discipline where it was necessary, and sometimes was necessary more often than others.
Exactly.
Just had a great pair of loving parents. Had a great set of friends growing up in the neighborhood and then at school. Growing up. And so the character that my parents instilled in me definitely came from them. Just great Christian, hardworking, loving people. So after high school graduation, I went to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and got my bachelor's of business administration and master's of accounting. And then when I got out of Chapel Hill, went into public accounting for a few years, and then transitioned into accounting manager, and then controller, and then CFO roles, and started building a book of business on the side. Preparing tax returns and doing some tax consulting for friends and family, and referrals grew and grew, and I ended up with a base of about 250 clients. And then I decided that it was time to do that full time. So have an awesome wife, Melissa. We have 4 kids, 2 girls and 2 boys. 2 girls are in college. 2 boys are 16 and 13. 2 girls are 19 and 18. No, I'm sorry, turned 20. She would kick me if I.
Great.
So yeah, just.
Are either of your girls at Carolina?
No, actually, both of them are at the local community college, Guilford Technical College, getting their 2-year associate's degree, and then figuring out where they want to transfer out to and focus on.
Very smart. Very smart.
Yeah.
They take after their daddy.
Well, I don't know your wife, so I can't say the exact your mom.
My wife. She's the MVP of the family by far.
Oh, how nice. How nice. How did you guys meet?
We actually met at a singles group at church.
Nice. That's a story anyway, right? No, I'm just kidding.
It is, yeah. Well, I was flipping burgers at the grill. So she thought that I was married and I was just helping out with the group. She thought, well, no way he's going to be single if he's doing the cooking. And sure enough, I was.
That's nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we've been married 22 years.
Oh, excellent.
Right.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. What do you like to do in your spare time? What are some of the things you do outside of accounting and tax and business?
Oh, love to travel with the family. Love to keep up with news from Walt Disney World. That's one of our favorite places to travel. And love watching movies. And
Nice.
mainly just hanging out with the family.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Are your daughters at home with you guys now with the stay at home, or you guys are all together there?
Yeah.
That's
They
nice.
never moved out, so we've always
Awesome.
been together.
That's wonderful. Yeah. That's
It's gonna be weird, when that time comes and they move out. Hopefully find a spouse that they love and and start their own families, and we're excited to see that, but not anytime soon.
Exactly. That's I dread the day. I think about it. Our oldest is 14. No, sorry, 15. I said 14. 15. And I still dread the day that, that he leaves the house at whatever point that is.
Yeah.
We live in Spain now, and a lot of times the kids like your daughters, they stay at home, live at home until they finish college, and then they'll get an apartment, or if they find a spouse or something.
Yeah.
But some people are at home until they're late 20s, even into 30s. It
Oh, wow.
saves a lot of money, and yep.
Yeah.
That certainly happens. Yep, that's smart that way.
Yep, sure is.
Good, excellent. So tell me a little bit. So you were working with other companies or working in other companies, and you had your clients on the side as well. What is it, or what kind of initiated you to say, hey, now I'm really ready to do this thing, full time on my own? What, was there any specific thing, or what were some of the reasons or thoughts behind that? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was kind of a combination of various things. So I was a full-time chief financial officer for a manufacturing company. And from January through April, being the full-time CFO, and then working with my clients outside of the CFO hours, I was literally working over 100-hour weeks from January through April. So my wife was a single mom, basically, for those 4 months. There were issues with my health. Lack of sleep. There were a few times that I caught myself falling asleep at a stoplight. The effect on the family with dad not being around. And when I was at home, I wasn't at home because my mind was still thinking about work. And so it reached the point where I had to make a decision to do one or the other. And I credit the CEO of the company I was working for. He called me into his office one day and he said, you can't keep doing this. You're a prime candidate for a heart attack. He said, I know guys that have run themselves in the ground working like this, and you can't keep it up. And I really appreciated him taking the risk to tell me that and just show that he cared about me as a person. And he said, we don't want to lose you as our CFO, but we cannot increase your salary to compensate for the income you have from your clients. So we can help toward that end, but we can't replace it. So, and I had already been thinking that anyway, and had started looking for CPA firms to purchase, because my wife's a stay-at-home homeschooling mom, so works extremely hard but doesn't get paid for it. So I'm the only income earner, and I knew if I just left the CFO position and started working with the client base I had, I wasn't going to be able to build it up quick enough to replace the CFO income. So started looking for a CPA firm to purchase, found the perfect opportunity in High Point, North Carolina, and made the transition in December of 2017. So purchased the firm and left the CFO position. So
wow. Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. And so the decision was for my own physical health, the health of my family, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and also my passion is really helping other people. And so I feel like I can do that better by being a CPA and serving a multitude of clients instead of just working in one particular company. When I was the CFO of the company, my mindset was that all of the employees were my customers. And so whatever they needed, it was my job to get them what they needed and to provide the support for them. Mm-hmm. For those employees, our customers were really their customers. So, I wasn't serving the Tractor Supplies and the Walmarts and the Costcos directly myself, but I was supplying the people who did supply those stores. So I guess I've always been a people person. So.
Yes, I remember that about you. Yeah. Most definitely. So what are some of the benefits that you can see for your family when you started this business?
More time at home, and so January through April is still a lot of work hours, not as many as I was working, but still as a CPA, a lot of hours January through April. But when I'm home, I'm more engaged with the family. My mind is typically more focused on my role as a husband and as a father. And then outside of January through April, so the rest of the year, hours are a lot more flexible. So if something's going on with the family, it's, excuse me, it's no big deal to leave the office and attend a baseball game or my daughter's fencing match, which was really cool.
Fencing, nice.
Yeah, and if Friday of next week is projected to be beautiful, well, hey, let's all go to the zoo. Let's all go to the park. Hey, or my wife will call. Hey, we're all going to the park for lunch today. Do you want to meet us? And so there's that flexibility has been great.
That's really nice. It
Yeah.
sounds like you've transitioned really nicely and are enjoying the opportunity that it's given you.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the biggest part of that is my staff. You know, the advice is to always hire people that are better and smarter than you are. And I've tried to do that. And so I am not in any way a micromanager. If I hire you to do a job, I'm trusting you to do that job, and I'm going to stay out of your way until you show that you're not capable of doing that job. So I let my staff handle their own work, just encourage the team to work together. And we've built I think a great team. So they make me look good. Sometimes I don't make them look good. I'll promise things that may be a little difficult to deliver time-wise sometimes, but they always step up and make me look good. So
that's excellent. That's great. So your first office is in High Point.
Mm-hmm.
And you just recently opened up a new office in Kernersville, right?
Yeah, sure did.
Tell us about that. How'd that come about?
Mm-hmm. So there's a CPA in Kernersville who wanted to sell her client list. And so she was actually hired by her largest business client to be their full-time controller.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the opposite of what happened to me, really. And so she wanted to transition her clients to another CPA. So she and I met, and so I took over her book of business. And one of the CPAs on my staff is from Kernersville, and she said, you know, folks in Kernersville typically don't like to leave Kernersville to have services. So our client retention will be a lot higher if we open an office in Kernersville. And that has worked out really well for us. And then we also have an office in Greensboro. So
nice. That's excellent. 3 offices.
Yeah.
How is that to keep in touch with everybody in the different offices? Is the communication and all that going well?
It is mostly. This time of year when things are just so busy and hectic, everybody is mindful to just kind of pay extra attention so that nothing falls through the cracks. But, with technology nowadays, it makes it a lot easier with Zoom and was it Slack or Slacker? I can't remember the name of it. And web portals and it's easier.
Nice. That's great. That's great. Good. So let's see how, like you said, a lot of your work is tax work for tax returns and everything from January to April. What are the main things that your customers come to you for, that you do work for them for the rest of the year, like all year round?
We do a lot of bookkeeping for business clients and payroll processing. We also do contract controller and CFO work for our business clients. That keeps us pretty busy. A lot of tax consulting, a lot of accounting consulting. And it's interesting how many non-accounting questions we get because we're our clients' trusted advisors. So helping them find the right resource to meet whatever their needs are. Like, for instance, we recently had a business client that's building they're purchasing a commercial building in downtown High Point, but they want to remodel it to meet their specific needs. And, so I get the call, hey, do you have any clients that are in the construction business that are good at what they do and can help us out? And we get those type questions all the time, and I love it. I want to be the resource that folks come to and say, I know this is not accounting related, but I trust your opinion and hope you can help me. And now with this coronavirus issue and the federal government releasing loan funds through the SBA, unemployment programs, our clients are depending on us to know all the ins and outs of these regulations to advise them on which avenue is the best for them to go. So we're getting tons of questions on that.
Wow.
There's always something to keep us busy.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Yeah, I was going to ask you about, about the coronavirus and how that's affecting your business as usual. How are you working with your clients and, and going about answering their questions? How is that logistically working nowadays for you?
In a variety of ways. Thankfully, everybody, blessing and the curse is that everybody's affected by this in some way, which means when you make adjustments to how you normally do things. So for instance, we've effectually shut down our lobbies. Folks are still allowed to come in, but they either have to arrange a time to come in or they have to knock on the door. So the doors are locked. They're not just walking in. And there's a table in front of the receptionist desk to create additional space between the client and the receptionist. And so document handoff doesn't occur with the client handing the papers directly to the receptionist. They put it on the table, and then our receptionist will pick it up from the table. We also have 3 of our staff members working from home for various reasons. One, the spouse is a nurse, and so the probability of her bringing something home from the hospital to him and then him bringing it to the office is significant, I'm sure. So he's working from home. We have another staff member who has bad asthma. She doesn't need to be out. We have another staff member who's the main caregiver for her 2 elderly parents. She doesn't need to be out. So our level of production is not where it normally is this time of year, but that's okay. And thankfully, all of our clients are very understanding, and it helps that the government has moved the filing deadline to July 15th. So folks aren't panicking to get their returns in by April 15th. So
that's for federal and for North Carolina as well, right?
Right. The only wrinkle for North Carolina is currently state law does not allow the Department of Revenue to waive interest on late payments after April 15th. They can waive penalties. So right now, any of our clients that pay any North Carolina tax due from April 15th to July 15th will still get hit with interest charges. The state legislature has publicly said that they're going to fix this retroactively to April 15th when they get back into session on April 28th. But I've never been one to take a politician's word as true. There's too many other people that have to agree with them to get things done. So we're instructing our clients, the ones that we know that typically have to pay when their returns are filed, we're calculating estimates. Hey, get North Carolina paid by April 15th. Worry about the federal later.
Mm-hmm.
So, we want to take that cautious approach.
Okay. Yeah, that's good advice. So there's not interest that they'll have to pay. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. On your website, I really like the tagline that you have, large enough to meet all your needs, small enough to know your name. I like that.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah. So we offer, a very wide range of services, from bookkeeping all the way to contract CFO engagements. We do the formal financial compilations and reviews. About the only thing we don't do are the formal audits, but we partner with larger firms to hand the audit work off to. Thankfully, it rarely comes up, but sometimes it does. But the small enough to know your name is we care about our clients. Normally, outside of COVID-19, a client can walk in the door with a question without an appointment. And generally, there's somebody here that has the time to sit down with them and answer their question. Or give us a call, ask your question. We'll be happy to answer it. We're not putting you on the clock. We're not nickel and diming our clients. We treat our clients like we like to be treated. And if I call somebody and just have a quick question that's going to take 5 minutes, I don't want to get a $50 invoice in the mail for that. So the result of that is the client will not call and ask the question. They'll make the decision to do whatever they're going to do in an uninformed manner. And then come tax time, they may be hit with a big tax bill that, if you had just taken 5 minutes to call us, we could have told you a better way to do it. And so we don't want clients to feel like they're going to be nitpicked on fees. So we want them to know, hey, we can pick up and call. I know if it's a 30-minute problem-solving session, I'm going to get an invoice for it. But if it's a quick little phone call, I know I'm not going to get charged. So it's treating people like you want to be treated yourself.
Most definitely. That is a nice motto. And it seems like we're not getting any younger, but we do appreciate more and more when we feel like we're treated that way by anybody, business setting, even in a personal setting or a social setting. Yeah, you can really tell when people care and want to help you out. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And what's interesting is when you do that, price becomes less of an issue. We are not the cheapest, don't want to be the cheapest, but most people see value. I call it the Chick-fil-A and Disney World effect. Can you go to McDonald's or Wendy's and get some decent chicken? Yeah, you can. Chick-fil-A's food is good. It's not 5-star quality, but it's good. You're going to pay more than a normal fast food restaurant, but you are going to get courteous, nicely dressed employees. You're going to get clean restaurants, clean bathrooms that are generally well stocked. So, and you cannot get in there on a normal lunch or dinner time. The drive-through is wrapped around the building every single day, but they get you through pretty quick, and folks are willing to pay extra for quality. Same with Disney World. Can you go to Carowinds and Six Flags and Busch Gardens and have a wonderful time? Yep, you sure can. Are the parks going to be spotless? They're going to be clean, but yeah. Are the cast members going to be very friendly and go out of their way to help you and go out of their way to answer questions? No, they will not. But you go to Walt Disney World, and it's a completely different level of customer service, and you know you're going to pay for it, but you know there's value to it. So it's kind of it's the same in any industry. Mm-hmm. And that's what we tell our business owners, particularly the tradesmen. So electricians, plumbers, landscapers, those guys. If you do a great job and you have good, clear communication with your clients and customers, if you have set an expectation that you cannot meet, so Mr. Landscaper, if you tell the homeowner you're going to be there at 10 a.m. to start mowing their lawn, and you're running late and you're not going to make it there until 10:30, call the homeowner and say, hey, listen, I'm sorry, I'm running late. I'll be there about 10:30. Folks want communication. They want to know that they matter. And if you do like most landscapers and just not call, and then you show up at noon, you're not going to get repeat business. You're not going to get referrals. And referrals is the heart of growing a business. Your best clients, your best customers come from referrals from your best customers and your best clients.
That is for sure.
Yeah.
That is for sure. It sounds so simple. It is simple, but it's not easy for so many businesses and so many people.
Right.
To me, it's a matter of respect. You know, when you say, I'll meet you at this time, or, you know, you have an appointment with a client, you have to be there. You have to be there on time. There are emergencies that happen sometimes, but still there's a phone. I mean, nowadays we have the cell phones and we can contact. So it's even easier nowadays, even a text message or something. But
yes.
sometimes people or businesses just don't get that. So that's nice to hear. Yeah. I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Well, how, Scott, can people get in touch with you if they're interested in, you know, in talking with you about perhaps, you know, contracting your services or asking you a question, or what's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
The easiest way is to go to our website, scottcorneliuscpa.com. Has all of our contact information there. Our office number in High Point, which is our main office, is 336-885-5100. You can email me directly at scornelius@scottcorneliuscpa.com. I tried to make that email address longer, but I ran out of character space. So.
They had to cut you off at some point, right?
That's right. That's right. But you can Google Scott Cornelius CPA, will come up. You know, we're happy to answer any questions we have that we can for folks. We don't charge for initial consultations, so you know we get a lot of folks who want to come in and bring their on the tax side, bring their returns in and say, hey, I've been doing it myself. I'm thinking of using a CPA. You may be able to give me a bigger refund, and then look through their return. And it's pretty simple. And you say, no, if you're comfortable with TurboTax, it's not going to mess your return up. I mean, all you have is W-2 income and a little bit of interest income from the bank. Excuse me. you don't need to pay a professional to do your tax return with all of the free services. But then there's other people that have rental property, or, hey, I just bought my first rental property. I'm thinking about doing it myself. What do you think? Probably not a good idea, unless you're really familiar with the rules. So we advise people honestly. If we're not going to be a good fit for them, we're quick to tell them, but a lot of folks do need that professional guidance. They do need a group of trusted professionals that they can count on to get, to get correct and timely answers. And we're happy to serve new people. So.
Excellent. Well, that sounds great. We will have details in the show notes, of your website and those phone numbers if folks would like to get in touch with you.
Great.
And it's really been good to see you and to talk with you. And I really appreciate you taking your time out this morning to have this chat with me.
Yeah. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's been great. It's good to see you again.
Great to see you too, Scott. Take care, and best wishes for your company and for your new office, and of course personally with all your family. Stay safe.
Thank you so much.
And yeah,
you guys as well.
Thank you. Good. Take care.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Below in the show notes, you'll see how to contact our guests and find their website and business. If you would be so kind, please subscribe to this North Carolina Business Podcast. Share it with your friends, family, and colleagues, and leave a comment. I promise I will read all of the comments. If you are or know of a North Carolina business owner that would like to be on this podcast, please send an email to amanda@bestlifeinspire.com. Thank you again for listening, and we look forward to you joining us on the next episode as we meet and hear the story of another wonderful North Carolina business owner. Take care. Until next time, this is Amanda Cook signing off.